Hello, welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you were watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm back with some more updates coming out from the war between Russia and Ukraine, and I've got lots of news to share with you today. So, earlier this morning, Ukraine launched a major drone and missile attack onto the Crimean Peninsula. This is a picture coming out from Sevastopol, which is a major city in southwestern Crimea, and this is a naval base for Russia's military called the Nakhimov Black Sea Naval Marines Corps base. Looks like there may have been a direct hit on the territory of this base, as we can see lots of smoke coming from this picture. So we had a naval base coming under attack in the Crimean Peninsula in the city of Sevastopol. Also, we have reports that the Saki and Baalbek airfields, also in Crimea, not too far away from Sevastopol, still in the southwestern side of Crimea, also attacked by drones and missiles. So, from what I understand, at least 40 drones were fired into Crimea just earlier this morning, along with Neptune missiles being used and maybe even S-200 missiles. And there is some speculation on X right now as well that also Scalp or British Storm Shadow missiles potentially being used in Crimea also, which would not be surprising to me as we have seen Storm Shadow hitting inside of Crimea in the past. So we'll talk more about that today. I'll give you guys some information regarding these strikes inside of Crimea. Also, we're going to be talking about Russia's economy. Okay, we're going to talk more about that as the ruble is continuing to slide. I believe it hit up to 113 rubles per dollar today. Yesterday, I think it was around 106 or so. So it is definitely sliding very fast. And we're also going to talk about what Russia's central bank is doing to counteract the collapse of the ruble. And also, we're going to discuss Kaliningrad a little bit towards the end of this video as well, as it looks like NATO surveillance planes have been really watching Kaliningrad over the last 24 hours, doing loops around Kaliningrad. I think up to 5 surveillance planes have been watching that area. So it makes me wonder if what we reported over the last week, we had fiber optic cables, 2 of them that were cut in the Baltic Sea. Supposedly there is a Chinese bulk carrier that is being held off the coast of Denmark right now that is suspected of cutting these cables. And I wonder if the reason why these surveillance planes are currently monitoring Kaliningrad is maybe Russia had something to do with this, but we don't know 100%, but it's definitely interesting that soon after we had the cut of these cables, now we have Kaliningrad being monitored heavily, which is just off the coast of where this happened at, okay? So Kaliningrad is right next to Lithuania, and Lithuania had one of the cables cut that ran from their nation over to Sweden. Okay, so lots of news to go over today, guys. I want to go ahead and start diving right into this. So we're going to hop into X, and I've got lots of information to show you today. So let's start off here with Bliskovka. Belbek Air Base attacked in temporarily occupied Sevastopol, according to Russian media. According to preliminary information, about 40 drones, Neptune missiles, and ballistic missiles, probably Storm Shadow, were launched over Crimea. The Russian Defense Ministry announced the destruction of 25 drones over the Black Sea and in the territory of Crimea. Okay, so major attack onto Crimea today. And again, 2 air bases and then also a naval base was attacked today inside of Crimea. So this is a report as well from Max 24 and plus Storm Shadow / Scalp, he says. And it says right here, this is like a little screenshot from Russian Telegram channel. It says Crimea repels major attack using Ukrainian drones and missiles. 2 waves of UAVs were launched from Odessa. The first consisted of at least 12 UAVs, and the second wave was estimated to have up to 50 UAVs. So we're hearing at least 40, but Russian Telegram channels are reporting well up to 50 or more could have been fired. And it says here they are flying over the Black Sea in the direction of Sevastopol. Missiles were also launched, presumably Neptune and or S-200. Air defense operations were heard in the area of the Saki airfield. Okay, so it looks like, again, Saki airfield definitely being attacked, Baalbek airfield, and then this naval base. Okay, we have another report here from War Translator Dmitry. A massive attack on Crimean Baalbek airfield is confirmed by major sources. Around 40 drones, Neptune missiles, and possibly Storm Shadow missiles are involved. Russian channels are in panic as debris is hitting targets. Now, I will admit this is a horrible video, but you're going to hear what sounds like some panic in the background from some of the citizens, probably inside Sevastopol, as there were drones probably coming in and debris even falling out of the skies. So you're not going to be able to really see much. I believe you'll see what appears to be like shadows of some birds that are flying over through the sky. But this is definitely more of an audio video versus visual. Take a look. Okay, just a short 15-second clip, but at one point in this video, you could hear what sounds like a quick explosion. You hear some people yelling and some panic, and then these birds are flying away, probably from the explosions, probably scaring the birds away. But this is unfortunately the best video footage that we have coming out right now. Maybe more information will come out in the future, and we'll have some more pictures and videos to show you from Crimea, but unfortunately, that's not too much. That's all that's surfacing right now. So we have this also from Tendar. Air alarms in Russian-occupied Crimea. Russian channels report air defense activity, explosions, and falling debris. They also say that Neptune and S-200 missiles have been used. TG channel, Crimean Wind, which is Telegram channel, distributes a picture of Sevastopol, precisely the territory of the Nakhimov Black Sea Naval Marine Corps base after the explosions. Okay, so here's that picture full screen that clearly shows, looks like something took a direct hit here. And considering that there's lots of smoke, to me, most likely this was a Neptune missile, maybe Storm Shadow, that struck this area. I doubt this was drones unless it was multiple drones striking this base, but looks like this naval base did come under attack as well. Okay, so now we're going to move on to more updates. We're going to talk about Russia's economy now. Jurgen Audit reports Gazprom shares are trading at an all-time low. A person who invested $1,000 in Gazprom shares in 2008 would only get $11 today. $11, Russia is collapsing. Okay, so this is really good information showing how much Russia's economy is suffering. Gazprom is a major company inside of Russia, and if their shares are collapsing, then this definitely shows that. I mean, we have definitely seen even Ukraine striking all these oil depots as well. So, you know, their oil depots are just being destroyed all over the place. Their oil and gas industry is collapsing. Now we're seeing Gazprom here completely collapsing as well. And if you notice, after about, I guess up to 2023, that's when it really started to slide. But ever since right before the invasion of Ukraine is when this company has been losing lots of value. Okay, we can see right around 114. It was at a high here of about 380 or so, 390. So definitely Russia's economy is suffering right now. Okay, so also from Jason J. Smart, ruble dropping. Monday, the ruble opened at $1 to equals 104 rubles. Tuesday was at 106. Halfway through Wednesday, it was at 110. The ruble lost 5.5% of value in two and a half business days. The ruble is sliding straight to the trash bin of history. So it definitely is collapsing very quickly, guys. I mean, look at this chart. Just over the last week, it has heavily pushed upwards in terms of the value being lost. And again, I think it's at 113 right now. Let's see what we got here on CNBC. Yeah, so CNBC reporting it's at 113 right now. Okay, so 113 rubles per dollar. And if we look at this graph here, we can see how much it's gone up just recently, okay? So even just from back in late July, early September, looks like it was around like 86 or so. Now it's all the way up to 113, okay? So Russia's ruble is definitely collapsing right now, and I'm sure the Russian central bank is for sure, they've got to be definitely panicking right now, okay? So also from Inside NK, geopolitics, breaking, Russia's central bank suspends all currency purchases. Their economy is on the brink. So it looks like the central bank is doing something to try to counteract the collapse of the ruble. And I pulled open this report to show you guys as well that talks about this from the Moscow Times. Russian central bank halts currency buying until 2025 as ruble slides. It says right here, Russia's central bank said Wednesday it will suspend buying foreign currency on the domestic market for the rest of 2024 as the ruble continues sliding to its lowest level since Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022. The decision to halt foreign currency purchases from Thursday until December 31st seeks to reduce volatility in the financial markets. Okay, so that's what they're trying to do, apparently, reduce volatility in the financial markets, as we've even been seeing the Russian stock market is not doing well. Also, it is definitely collapsing at the same time. The deferred purchases will be carried out during the course of 2025, Russia's central bank said in a statement. Okay, so this is very big also. Looks like the central bank is trying to do something to counteract the collapse. So Russia's economy, again, not doing well right now. Very scary for Russia considering the situation that they're in. They're stuck in this war right now. And, could we see the Russian economy completely collapse very soon? I think it's very possible, but I'm pretty sure that also soon we're probably going to see the Russian central bank come out and raise interest rates even further. I think they're at like 21 or 22% right now for the key interest rate. They're probably going to bump that up to 23 or higher. Okay, now we're going to talk about Kaliningrad a little bit. Take a look at this from Max 24. Russian Kaliningrad is under reconnaissance by 5 NATO aircraft today. So 5 NATO aircraft monitoring Kaliningrad heavily at the moment. And, it makes me wonder why they're doing this. I mean, just recently we reported just off the coast over here with Lithuania, right in this area is where we saw these cables being cut, okay? Fiber optic cables. There was one running from Germany over to Finland. That one was completely severed. Then another one from Lithuania over to Sweden also being cut at the same time. And then we reported to you guys that there was a Chinese bulk carrier that was traversing through here that slowed down in this area just prior to the cables being cut. And apparently the timestamps matched up with that bulk carrier transferring through here. And so right now, the Danish military is currently holding that bulk carrier just off the coast of Denmark as they investigate the situation. So definitely interesting that we're seeing all these surveillance planes monitoring Kaliningrad right now. So what's going on over here? Does it have something to do with these fiber optic cables being cut, or maybe is this something else that is going on? Let me know what you think down below. Also from Tomi, something big could be going on behind the scenes right now. Tense situation in Kattegat continues around the Chinese vessel Yipeng, and 3 and 5 NATO reconnaissance planes are simultaneously monitoring Kaliningrad at the moment. Russian economy is in free fall. Interesting day. So yeah, definitely lots of craziness happening over here right now with these reconnaissance planes heavily monitoring Kaliningrad. I'm definitely wondering what that could possibly be, and I wonder what you guys are thinking as well. So let me know what you think down below. But again, yeah, Russia's economy not doing well also. He's definitely right. Also from the Kiev Independent, these are the indicative estimates of Russia's combat losses as of November 27th, according to the Armed Forces of Ukraine. So here's a diagram to show you guys again, a daily update of 1,580 troops that Russia supposedly has lost over the last 24 hours. So again, still sticking around that 1,500 mark is what we have been seeing over the last few weeks. 48 AFVs, 84 vehicles and fuel tanks, 14 tanks. Wow, a lot more than usual. Usually we see around 5 or 6. Looks like 14 tanks may have been destroyed on the Russian side. 24 artillery systems, 64 UAVs, 1 MLRS system. So again, more losses for the Russians. And the main number that I've been watching here is the troop losses, okay? It's been right around 1,500 consistently for weeks now. Okay, also from Nexta, 36 out of 89 UAVs shot down by air defense forces this night, according to Ukraine's Air Force. According to the military, 48 drones were locationally lost, while 5 flew off in the direction of Russia, Belarus, and uncontrolled territories. So here's a diagram showing 36 out of 89 UAVs being shot down by Ukrainian air defense teams. So 89 UAVs being fired into Ukraine. I think just the other day we reported 188. Okay, so I think that was the highest or record amount of drones being fired by Russia into Ukraine just the other day. So it's definitely been right around close to 100 per day being fired into Ukraine on average. Now I want to show you guys this from Nexta. Russia has super weapons to deliver a tangible and inevitable response, claims Valentina Matvienko, chairwoman of the Russian Federation Council. Okay, so she's going to be stating here that Russia apparently has some super weapons, and at some point they will have to deliver a response, is what she considers an inevitable response to the attacks on their territory, is most likely what she's talking about here. But just go ahead and pay attention to the subtitles down here. It's just 20 seconds long.
Мы готовы к любому развитию событий, и у нас есть средства, в том числе супероружие, чтобы дать ощутимый и неотвратимый ответ. Как сказал президент, ответ всегда будет. Не мы нагнетаем эскалацию, мы вынуждены, к сожалению, на нее отвечать. И мы готовы к любому...
Okay, so again, she's most likely talking about the strikes on Russian territory with US made missiles. Also, the Storm Shadow missiles from the UK have been striking into Russian territory as well. And that's most likely going to continue. I think we've seen a total of 4 attacks with NATO weapons, NATO missiles hitting Russian territory just over the past week or so. And I'm going to be doing a separate report today, also letting you guys know that apparently Russia's defense ministry is claiming that they are going to respond to the 2 recent attacks that we saw over the last like 3 days inside of the Kursk region. We had 2 ATACMS ballistic missile attacks from Ukraine. I think one of them was on a radar station. Another one also striking inside of the Kursk region, 2 times over the last 3 days. So it looks like they're going to be responding to that. And again, I'll do a separate update video regarding that today. I'll show you guys that information. So also from Max 24, new advanced U.S. drone systems have been nailed as game changers after being successfully tested on the front lines of the war in Ukraine. According to Newsweek, the Hitchhiker is a high-speed electric-powered interceptor drone designed to destroy enemy drones. So Ukraine's been coming up with a lot of these lately. This is apparently a photo of that. It's a new type of drone that Ukraine is trying to use to intercept incoming Shahed drones to their territory. So they've been coming up with lots of different designs of interceptor drones recently. This appears to be a new one called the Hitchhiker. So that's kind of cool to see that. Also from Max 24, Russia used strategic bombers Tu-160 against Ukraine, which Ukraine gave it 25 years ago. So apparently, yeah, Ukraine gave these Tu-160 bombers over to Russia 25 years ago. Now Russia's using it to bomb Ukraine. Isn't that crazy to think about? Also the fact that they gave up all their nuclear weapons a long time ago, and if they had their nuclear weapons, they probably wouldn't be attacked by this Tu-160, but they decided to give them up a long time ago, back in the 90s. And also from next to Budanov, corruption, incompetence, and lack of strategic vision led to anti-state decisions. The head of Ukrainian intelligence, Kirilo Budanov, commented on information that Russia in the war uses Tu-160 fighter jets, which were transferred by Ukraine 25 years ago. Corruption, incompetence, and lack of strategic vision led to anti-state decisions. We, as a country and a nation that pays an extremely high price in the fight for its freedom, have no right to allow such mistakes and crimes to be repeated, Budanov emphasized. So he's obviously upset at the fact that Ukraine transferred these Tu-160s over to Russia, basically claiming they should have never done this, and in the future they need to change the way that they conduct business and not give this kind of equipment over to Russia, or maybe even not to anybody else in the region, as obviously they're coming under attack by Russia now, and they're probably regretting some of these decisions, like giving out their nuclear weapons as well. Okay. So also from Bliskovka, Lithuania supports France's idea of possibly sending Western troops to Ukraine, and the country will not need NATO permission. This was stated by Lithuanian ambassador to the alliance, Davidas Matulionis. That's a hard name to say. However, he admitted that sending Western troops to Ukraine is currently just an idea, and different countries have different positions on this. Okay, so it does not surprise me that Lithuania is supportive of France's idea of sending Western troops to Ukraine, as I believe in the past we have heard from several officials from Lithuania that they even supported sending their own troops to Ukraine if need be. But yeah, we have been hearing that France could potentially send their troops to Ukraine to back Ukraine if need be. And I think the UK is backing out of this. We had David Lammy, the foreign secretary, come out yesterday and say that they are not going to send their troops, but France has not at all stated that they're backing out of this. Okay, if anything, they come out and say that they have removed all red lines for Ukraine, that they'll do whatever is necessary to defend them. Okay, also from Igor Sushko, Russia, a car exploded in the early morning hours in the Moscow suburb of Odintsovo, near Rubliovka, if I'm saying that right, in Moscow, which is home to many of the ultra-rich in Putin's mafia. No information so far on who exactly was assassinated with the car bomb. So it looks like we had another car exploding again inside of Russia. We just had one recently in Crimea. There was a missile commander for the naval fleet for Russia's Black Sea Fleet that was assassinated down in Crimea just a couple weeks ago. Now we have another car exploding over here inside of Russia, potentially targeting maybe another top official in Russia's military. Who really knows yet? I don't have all the details just yet, but when it does come out, I will show you guys that information. But yeah, yet another car and potential assassination. Okay, also from next to the Russian drone Gerbera, which did not explode, is stuck on a tree in Kiev. Photo from social networks. Local media say that this is one of the locationally lost drones. Take a look at this, guys. One of these Gerbera drones sitting in a tree in Kiev that did not explode. Okay, so again, Ukraine is attacked by upwards of 100 drones or more every day. And luckily, this one did not explode and it was caught by a tree. So that's kind of crazy to see that thing sitting in a tree. Very massive drone, right? Okay, also from Nexta, a Ukrainian delegation headed by Defense Minister Umarov has arrived in Seoul with a request for arms supplies to Ukraine, according to Reuters. According to the newspaper, the Donga Lebo, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm probably butchering that. Sorry, guys. Representatives of Ukraine have already met with South Korea's National Security Chief Shin Won-sik. Yonhap quoted sources as saying that Umarov may also meet with President Yoon Suk-yeol today. Okay, so we heard about this just the other day. I reported this to you guys that Rustem Umarov, the defense minister of Ukraine, was going to be heading over to Seoul to meet with the South Korean government and also their president. And what he's trying to do is drum up support for South Korea to provide weaponry over to Ukraine and also to counteract what North Korea is doing right now. Okay, North Korea is sending lots of weapons and even troops to Russia to fight against Ukraine, and they're trying to get South Korea on board to provide weaponry over to the Ukrainians. Okay, also for Max 24, Ministry of Defense of Ukraine has codified and put into operation the Onsila Sturm armored personnel carrier. The vehicle is equipped with an automatic transmission and a powerful turbo diesel engine. The fuel reserve is enough for more than 700 kilometers of travel. That's crazy. 700 kilometers is pretty far for this thing to travel. And here's a picture of that thing, very futuristic looking. And yeah, so a new armored personnel carrier that Ukraine is using now. Here's a photo of that. Pretty cool to see that with that gigantic gun on the top. Okay, also from Max 24, Ministry of Defense of Ukraine has officially codified and approved for the use of the portable simulator Safe Sky, designed for training air defense fire groups. Next, integration with anti-aircraft weapons, which allows training without the use of ammunition. Okay, so it looks like they've produced a new portable simulator that can train Ukrainians air defense teams, okay, without having to expend ammunition. And here's a picture that came out showing that, and allows them to train also inside of Ukraine in multiple different areas. And again, they don't have to use ammunition, so that's pretty cool. And this will help them save a lot of ammo during their training activities, okay? So that's kind of cool information coming out from Ukraine. Also from the Kyiv Independent, Biden reportedly asked for $24 billion in Ukrainian aid, arms replenishment, Roughly $16 billion would be used to restock U.S. arsenals, while the remaining $8 billion would go to the Ukraine Security Assistance Initiative, Politico Pro reported. Okay, so this was some big news coming out today. This is more support that could be going over to Ukraine very soon, potentially up to $8 billion, but looks like a large percentage of it is to refill U.S. stocks, okay? So obviously, I'm sure the stock levels for the United States are probably pretty low considering how much support has been sent over to Ukraine. So it looks like Biden is pushing for this right now, currently trying to ask Congress to pass this and get more support for Ukraine as well. Okay, also from Bliskovka, the Russian military command is probably preparing for an offensive on the territory of the Dnipropetrovsk region, according to the Institute for the Study of War. The goal of this offensive may be an attempt to occupy the southeastern parts of the region in order to achieve the strategic goal of full control over the Donetsk region. Okay, so we've been talking about this for a while, that Russia potentially could push to the northern section of the Zaporizhzhia region, which is down here, this kind of dotted line. And then this is the Dnipropetrovsk region right here, okay? We've been hearing that the Russians may push into the eastern side of this, try to take this over to also cut off any troops that are heading from the eastern side or the western portion of Ukraine or more central Ukraine over to the Donetsk region. So they're essentially trying to kind of cut off the Donetsk region and encircle it. And that's why we may see an offensive into this area. That's kind of what he's talking about here. We've reported this multiple times, and I'm sure this will come at some point. As the Eastern Front is definitely slowly starting to fall apart for Ukraine. But we did hear recently as well yesterday from Oleksandr Syrsky that they are going to launch new offensives. So who knows? This may push Russia's plan even further back as, if this offensive that Ukraine launches is very successful. We don't even know where they're going to launch this counteroffensive at. But I've definitely been wondering if it may open up a new front into Russia. I'll show you guys that here in just a second. Also, from War Translated Dmitry, Le Monde writes that Ukrainian armed forces, with the help of electronic warfare, have learned to change the coordinates of enemy Shahed drones and redirect them back to Russia and Belarus. Thanks to spoofing, 43 attack drones flew into Belarus on November 24 to the 26th alone. So this explains everything for me. I've been wondering for weeks now how these drones coming from Russia into northern Ukraine would all of a sudden turn back around and head back to Belarus. Looks like we have that information now. They're calling it spoofing. Okay, so apparently they are able to change the coordinates of these drones that are coming into their territory. They make them turn back around and head towards Belarus. And Belarus has been throwing a fit recently, complaining about this, that they've had to shoot down incoming Shahed drones that were supposedly coming from Ukraine. And this was Ukraine supposedly changing the coordinates on these with electronic warfare. So that's some very big news and a huge upgrade for Ukraine if they're able to start doing this more often. This could be a disaster for Russia as well, as many of these drones incoming from Russia could be redirected back into their territory. Okay, also from Max 24, an AN-2 Kukurznik, that's a tough word to say, also flew over the forbidden zone in Salavat, causing an air raid alert and air defense working. Okay, so this was being reported yesterday. Looks like there may have been some sort of oil and gas structure here, according to Max 24. Also says Salavat, Republic of Bashkiria, Russia. This is deep into Ukraine, okay? 1,200 kilometers, 1,200 kilometers deep into Russia. And this is getting closer to like central Russia past the Kazan region. And there was a drone, a massive drone being spotted flying in the skies over here, probably targeting some oil and gas industries over here. And we don't have any updates just yet if anything was struck. It is very possible that maybe we did have a strike in this area, but I want to show you guys this video footage of this drone flying in the skies, a massive drone.
Полетел.
All right, so I'm really surprised that a drone like this can make it so deep into Russian territory. How does this thing not get shot down? If it's so massive like this, how are Russian air defense teams not able to shoot these things down? And this thing made it 1,200 kilometers into Russia. Isn't that insane, guys? Look at the size of that thing as it's heading to target something in this area. But if we do get more information on this, I'll definitely update you guys on this later. But yeah, this was some video footage coming out yesterday from this area inside of Russia. Finally, one last thing to show you from Igor Sushko. Ukraine's commander-in-chief, General Syrsky, hinted at an impending large counteroffensive. If this is real and not just a feint to confuse the Russians, I'd expect another Kursk-like invasion of Russia, but in a different region, maybe Bryansk. Okay, so this is exactly what I was talking about just the other day, or yesterday, excuse me, when we heard about this, that the Ukrainian armed forces are preparing to launch a counteroffensive. Now, there's not too many areas where they can really launch an offensive at other than the areas they're currently fighting. So it would obviously be in eastern Ukraine. I was thinking maybe up in the Kharkiv region they might do that, or it would either be Donetsk, Luhansk, or down here closer to the Dnipro-Petrovsk region, or Zaporizhzhia, or maybe even Kherson region. So we don't really know exactly where this is going to happen yet, but I did tell you guys that maybe it could be a second offensive into Russia, okay? And potentially the Bryansk region could be another area that this war opens up into. I don't know how many forces are over here that Russia has defending the Bryansk region. Maybe Ukraine could successfully launch another incursion into Bryansk. I mean, that'd be insane if they were able to carry that out. that a second incursion would open up. And it would probably even pull some pressure off of the Kursk region if they were to do that. So we'll see what happens. And don't be surprised if we do hear that Ukraine launches another incursion into Russia. That is a very big possibility, and that could be the counteroffensive that Ukraine is talking about. But that's going to be it for today's update, though, guys. I want to thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you all enjoy your Thanksgiving Eve. And if you're preparing for Thanksgiving tomorrow, I hope you guys have a good day. I will be here tomorrow as well to give you guys more updates coming out from these wars. Also, with Ukraine and Russia, and then even the Middle East. There's lots of news coming out for the Middle East right now. So thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Hope you all have a great day. And let me know what you think of this video down below. Share your thoughts, concerns, and opinions down in the comment section. But that's going to be it for today's update. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless. And we'll see you in the next one.